What if everything you were ever taught about sacred union, desire, and human energy was only a shadow of the truth? What if hidden in ancient temples, far from the eyes of the uninitiated, there existed a body of wisdom so powerful that it could transform the human body into a living temple of light? Tonight, we open the gates of that forgotten knowledge. Tantra is not what the modern world believes it to be. It is not indulgence, nor is it merely physical. Tantra is a cosmic science, a spiritual technology, a map that guides the soul from the densest matter to the purest spirit. Its roots go back beyond recorded history, woven into the Vedas of India, the Taoist alchemy of China, the mystery schools of Egypt, and the sacred fires of the Zoroastrians. Tantra was never about pleasure alone. It was about transformation, liberation, and immortality. The ancients saw the body as a vessel, not of sin, but of divinity. To them, breath was not simply air. It was prana, the living current of the universe. Blood was not only fluid, it was the river of ancestry, memory, and cosmic inheritance. And the essence of life itself, that subtle seed within, was not meant to be wasted, but preserved and transmuted into light. This was the secret of White Tantra, the art of ascension through purity, retention, and the sublimation of vital force into divine consciousness. In the beginning, Tantra was taught not in crowded halls, but in caves, forests, and hidden temples. Disciples would sit in silence as the master spoke words that burned through illusion. They learned that the body was a sacred microcosm of the universe. The spine was not merely bone, it was Mount Meru, the axis of creation. The chakras were not symbols, but doors to other dimensions of being. And the union of opposites, sun and moon, masculine and feminine, fire and water, was the eternal key to liberation. Science today confirms what the sages intuited. Neuroscience shows us that intention and breath can rewire the brain. Epigenetics teaches that our choices can rewrite the destiny written in our DNA. Physics whispers that the universe is not solid, but vibration, energy, dancing in patterns of sacred geometry. And Tantra, thousands of years ago, already knew. The body is an alchemical crucible, where energy becomes light, and light becomes consciousness. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what if your body is not simply flesh and bone? What if within you lies a hidden mechanism waiting to be activated? What if you are not only human, you are divine in disguise? The origins of Tantra speak of a time when the sacred and the scientific were one. In the Vedic hymns, Agni, the fire, was invoked as the messenger between gods and humans. In Taoist scrolls, the microcosmic orbit described how energy circulates through the body, rising like the serpent of light. In the temples of Egypt, the staff of Hermes symbolized the caduceus, the same twin currents that yogis call Ida and Pingala. Different lands, different languages, yet the same truth. Energy rises, energy transforms, energy awakens. Tantra was the science of awakening. The ancients practiced breath retention, mantras, meditations, and rituals of energy to activate what modern science now calls the parasympathetic nervous system, altering brainwaves, expanding consciousness, and opening the hidden capacities of the human mind. They discovered that when the vital essence is preserved and sublimated, it becomes the nectar of immortality. The origins of Tantra were never meant to be public knowledge. Masters guarded it with secrecy, knowing that if misused, it could enslave rather than liberate. For power without wisdom becomes destruction. That is why Tantra was always transmitted from mouth to ear, from master to disciple, through initiation. The disciple was tested not for knowledge, but for purity of intention, because the gates of Tantra open only for those who seek truth above desire, light above shadow, liberation above indulgence. Yet here you are, listening to these whispers across time. And the question emerges, why now? Why is the veil lifting in our era? The answer lies in this truth. Humanity stands at the threshold. We live in a time of great chaos, but also of great possibility. The ancients prophesied that when the age of darkness reached its height, the wisdom of Tantra would resurface, not for the chosen few, but for all who are ready. The essence of White Tantra, the purest stream of this tradition, is the art of transmutation. It teaches that every impulse, every desire, every thought is energy. Energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be transformed. Anger can become clarity. Desire can become devotion. Fear can become courage. And the seed of life itself can become a pillar of light that connects heaven and earth through your spine. This is not poetry, it is physiology. Modern biology confirms that the cerebrospinal fluid carries neuropeptides and molecules that affect consciousness. Ancient yogis discovered ways to amplify this current, making the spine a river of fire. Today, neuroscience sees the same phenomenon in altered brain states produced by deep meditation. 2 languages, 1 truth. The human being is designed for awakening. What does this mean for you? It means that within your breath lies the power to rewire your mind. Within your body lies the map to higher consciousness. Within your essence lies the potential for immortality. And this is the legacy of Tantra. You are not broken, you are not fallen. You are the temple, and the fire has always been within you. The origins of Tantra reveal a truth so profound that even modern science is only now beginning to catch up. To understand this truth, we must step into the mindset of the ancients. They did not separate spirit from matter, energy from body, or heaven from earth. Everything was one continuum, a seamless thread of consciousness manifesting in infinite forms. To them, the body was not a prison, but a sacred instrument, a microcosm of the universe itself. The spinal column was the cosmic pillar, echoing the Djed of Egypt and Mount Meru of the Vedas. The brain was the throne of the gods, capable of receiving visions and revelations. The breath was the bridge between worlds, the very cord that tethered the soul to the body. And the vital essence, preserved, cultivated, and sublimated, was the holy fire that could ignite enlightenment. Pause for a moment and reflect. What if your life force is not meant to be spent thoughtlessly, but to be directed like a sacred river? What if every thought you think, every breath you take, every impulse you feel is energy that can either enslave you or set you free? The ancient masters knew this. That is why White Tantra placed such emphasis on purity. Not moral purity in the dogmatic sense, but energetic purity. It is not about denial, but about transformation. To eat, to breathe, to love, to feel, all are sacred when done with awareness. The difference lies in intention. With unconsciousness, life force drains into oblivion. With awareness, life force rises like a serpent of light, coiling upward until it awakens the crown. This is why retention was called the solar gate. To retain is not to suppress, it is to honor. It is the art of holding the seed of life as a divine flame, not spilling it into the dust of forgetfulness, but raising it into the heart, the brain, and beyond. Taoist masters called it the circulation of the golden elixir. Vedic rishis spoke of ojas, the distilled essence of power. Egyptian initiates called it the breath of immortality. Different names, same truth. Within the human body lies a hidden fountain of eternal life. Science today reveals that practices of retention and conscious breathing stimulate the pineal gland, regulate hormones, and increase coherence between heart and brain. Studies in neuroplasticity confirm that intention rewires neural circuits. Epigenetics shows that conscious choices activate or silence genetic codes. In other words, the ancient promise of Tantra, that you can transform your destiny through mastery of energy, is now validated by modern research. At the heart of White Tantra lies a paradox. To ascend, one must descend. To awaken the highest light, one must enter the depths of the body. To reach immortality, one must honor mortality. The ancients never rejected the body. They revered it. They did not escape desire. They transmuted it. They did not fear darkness. They illuminated it. Here lies the greatest secret of the origins of Tantra. It is not a religion. It is not a philosophy. It is not even a tradition in the ordinary sense. It is a technology of consciousness, a bridge between the finite and the infinite. It is the art of becoming the temple itself, where the divine fire burns eternally at the altar of your heart. Midway through our journey, let me ask you, what if the sacred texts were not allegories, but manuals? What if the mantras, the yantras, the rituals were not metaphors, but codes? Codes written to awaken the hidden operating system of the human soul? When we look at the origins of Tantra, we see this clearly. The Vigyan Bhairav Tantra offered 112 techniques, from gazing at the sky to meditating on the heart, each a doorway to awakening. The Taoists mapped the flow of qi through the microcosmic orbit, teaching how to recycle energy into higher states. The Egyptians used sound, vibration, and geometry to activate higher centers of perception. All of them spoke of one truth. The human being is designed to awaken. Imagine this. Every breath you take is an opportunity to align with the eternal rhythm. Every heartbeat is a drum of the cosmos echoing in your chest. Every thought can either chain you or liberate you. Tantra teaches us that liberation is not elsewhere. It is in this very body, in this very breath, in this very moment. As you hear these words, energy stirs within you. Perhaps you feel a subtle vibration, a warmth in your spine, a tingling in your heart. This is not imagination, it is recognition. The body knows what the mind has forgotten. The origins of Tantra are not outside you, they are within you. The path of White Tantra is not easy. It requires discipline, devotion, and surrender. It demands that you turn every act of life into a ritual, every breath into prayer, every union into meditation. But for those who walk this path, the reward is beyond comprehension. It is not pleasure alone, but bliss beyond duality. Not knowledge alone, but wisdom that transforms. Not mortality, but immortality. The realization that you are eternal consciousness dancing in form. So let us return to the beginning. The origins of Tantra were hidden because humanity was not ready. But now, in this age of awakening, the knowledge resurfaces. Not to enslave, but to liberate. Not to divide, but to unite. Not to feed ego, but to dissolve it into the infinite. And so I ask you one final question. Will you continue to live as if you are only human? Or will you remember that you are the temple, the fire, the bridge? Because the truth is this. Tantra is the bridge. Love is the fire. You are the temple.